Banaras has etched itself in our minds as the spiritual capital of India. A place of vibrancy. A place of cultural extravaganza. A place of religious harmony. This is a city where threads of culture are woven into the fabric. But things are not always as they seem on the surface. The ground realities of the plight of the weaving community reached out to the world when NDTV did a story on it.
Things started going wrong for the 15 lakh weavers of Banaras towards the end of the 1990s when China began dumping cheap silk fabric into the country. Today, nearly 70% of the looms in the city have shut down. A large section of the weavers are barely earning rupees 20 a day as hunger stalks these narrow alleys.
पहले 100 मिलता था और अब जो तो 60 मिलता है एक साड़ी
60 रुपया मिलता है तो 60 रुपये में 30 रुपये की मटेरियल लगती है।
पहली बात तो मजदूरी के लिए बैठे रहते हैं, काम मिल जाए तो इसके बुनाई के लिए बैठे रहते हैं, पैसों के लिए भी परेशान रहते हैं।
रोज संध्या का खाना मांग मांग के लड़कर के कुल खिलाइला। आप बताइए कैसे हम क्या करें, कैसे चलाएं?
The tragedy of these families is indescribable and it shows a failure of governance at all levels.
NDTV was the first TV channel to report on the crisis being faced by Varanasi's handloom weavers amidst the economic boom. Faulty government policies had pushed the weavers to hunger and death. An ancient craft faced extinction. NDTV stayed with the story as insensitive state and central governments failed to come up with an adequate response. But this was just the beginning of a new journey. The story triggered off a humanitarian effort towards bringing about a change in the living conditions of these people.
We saw this thing on NDTV about the Banaras weavers, the plight of the weavers in Banaras, and the Taj Group Hotels decided to do something to, uplift their bereavement, and they asked us if we could do something.
This started off a series of initiatives by Taj Hotels, Resorts and Palaces to provide not just facilities of solar lighting, health and hygiene, but also providing the weavers with a sustainable source of livelihood within the realms of their skill. Since then, the Taj Group has adopted a village on the outskirts of Banaras.
वो तो हमारे लिए भगवान उतर के आए हैं, होटल वाले हम लोग को बहुत सुविधा दे रहे हैं.
And the weavers have been weaving the Taj Luxury Hotel staff saris for the past 5 years.
I think the saris are absolutely exquisite and they look fabulous.
Taj Hotels, Resorts and Palaces believe that it is the business of corporations such as theirs to engage with communities in not just providing them with economic sustenance, but also keeping the legacy of traditions alive, especially in today's day and age when most is lost at the altar of commercialism. After almost 6.5 years since the beginning of the project, in the month of August 2012, an event was hosted in Delhi and Mumbai as part of Taj's endeavour to employ and empower rural weavers and artisans from Banaras.
Ladies and gentlemen, we take great pleasure in welcoming the Maharaja and Maharani of Banaras. Banaras at sunset on the banks of the Ganga.
This is a very special evening and I'm delighted that all of you are here. It's very seldom we celebrate what's good, what's decent, and what's part of India's heritage. It's very easy for us to talk about our legacy, to talk about our civilization without doing precious little, which is why I guess this evening is more special. It throws a light as to what can and what must be done if we want India to be at the top of the table as far as legacy preservation and conservation of our legacy and our heritage is concerned.
We've done something tonight is a show which is called the Revival Arts. These motifs, these designs are over 100, 200-year-old designs which have been recreated to make awareness that what you're wearing today will be lost tomorrow if you don't support this cause.
Taj Khazana, the in-house lifestyle store from the Taj Group, in association with Zoya Diamond Boutique, unveiled an exquisite collection of saris and jewellery.
Mr. Krisha Kumar, who is the moving force behind the Taj and the Vice Chairman, was sitting at home watching television when this documentary on NDTV appeared.
Actually, I have to thank NDTV for that, because a documentary on NDTV on the plight of the weavers is finally what convinced my husband, who was then the CEO of Taj, to go into this fully.
This was a tribute to one of the oldest living cities in the world and its age-old craft.
अभी तो खैर हम तो यही चाहेंगे कि जीवन भर यही काम चले तो अच्छा है.
Other weavers in the village tell us they're eager to be included in the project.
हमें यही वाला काम लगाना चाहते हैं. हम भी करना चाहते हैं. और आप? हम भी करेंगे.
It was, I think it was the right decision to do. We had, I work for a craft organization called Parambarik Karigar, and then with that I came in contact with lots of weavers and came to realize the hardships that they're going through. When you talk one-to-one, you realize how much they're really suffering and what the troubles that they're going through and what could be done to better their lives.
Things happened. One is you resurrected the craft. Number two, you gave the craft its deserved exposure. So in other words, not only did you create livelihood which is sustainable, which is meaningful and respectful, you also made Banarsi weaving or Banarsi woven saris a brand unto themselves. And to that end, you managed to have compassion with passion, and you blended the two and created a brand that is today at the forefront of saris in India.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app, fully optimized for retina display, full screen view, faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.